Welcome to another episode of the Wizard Gamers. I am your Wizard Charles, here as always with fellow Wizard Josh. How you doing, Josh?
Charles, I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Very good. Just wanted a quick question for you before we get into today's episode. What are you playing?
What am I playing? As of right now, I just finished up Dark Souls here. I'm in the process of going into Mario Kingdom Rabbids Battle. I'm planning on playing the Donkey Kong DLC, so I haven't had a chance to hit that one up yet. That's what I'm going to be going into next. What about you? What have you been playing?
Oh, I've been hooked on the Mario Aces since it came out. Been playing a lot of tournaments, throwing a lot of controllers, getting real upset, but it's been a lot of fun. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about games that are coming up here within the next year that we're both pretty excited for.
Yeah, we're kind of going over everything from E3 and just talking about which games are going to be coming out, which ones we're the most excited about, the ones that are going to be coming out by the end of the year, by 2018. So we're just going to be covering over the next 4 or 5 months,
yeah,
roughly.
Just the next few months here.
That's what we're going to be starting out with.
All right, well, we'll get right into it. One of the first ones is coming out July 24th, the Mega Man X Collection. Something very, very excited about. The X Collection is going to be pretty outstanding. We're getting Mega Man X 1 through 8. And they did do a Mega Man X Collection on other platforms, PlayStation 2, GameCube, but those only went 1 through 7. So we're getting a full new Mega Man X game, 8 games plus whatever potential bonus content they have, which I'm really excited to.
You know, I was actually curious. We didn't get a chance to talk about this. What platform are you planning on picking it up on?
Most likely Xbox One.
Xbox One?
That's almost a given.
And the reason for that is just because you're an achievement hunter, right? So you're going for that platinum trophy, kind of like what PlayStation guys would call it.
That's one of the things they did great on the Mega Man straight up anniversary collection, is they had all sorts of mini games and challenges, and it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. So I'm hoping they're doing a similar thing with Mega Man X here. That's my hope.
And I'm sure they probably will. I'm actually picking it up for both the Xbox and the Switch just because I think that having it on the Switch will be excellent, being able to take that anywhere.
Absolutely. So I've played Mega Man X's 1 through 3 pretty regularly. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, you just completed the GameCube collection, right?
Yes, and I'm not fully done. So I'm moving into the later Mega Man X titles, which I was not as familiar with. As you may or may not know, those titles came out on PlayStation 2, and I was always quite a Nintendo loyalist back in the day, so I didn't get much chance to play those as much, even though I think they had the X Collection on GameCube, very difficult to find, which I have now, which has been a great addition.
That's coming out July 24th here, so that's right around the corner.
Very excited, and since we're talking about Mega Man X, we might as well talk about Mega Man 11, which I am very, very stoked for. I think everything I'm seeing for it looks fantastic.
I'm going to piggyback off of that one as well. Again, those of you that don't know, I've got quite a large amiibo collection. To the best of my knowledge, I believe there's about 177 of them that are out there without the ones that have been in your pre-order status or that aren't available as of yet. The reason I bring up the amiibos is because on Mega Man 11, they are actually going to have a special edition amiibo that I did get my hands on, and so I've got that pre-ordered, so I'm very excited for that as well.
Very cool. And if you guys ever get a chance to look at any of the photos on our Twitter feed of the Amiibo collection, it is pretty outstanding. Some of the things about Mega Man 11, they're going with some pretty standard stuff. We're going Dr. Willy. We're going 8 bosses. We got Rush in there. We got Roll in there. We've seen clips of that. New graphics. And so we had Mega Man 8 on PlayStation where we tried new graphics, which were different than Nintendo, Super Nintendo. Now we finally get our first Mega Man with a really quite an extensive upgrade for the new systems, and I'm really excited to see how this looks.
You know, Charlie, for myself here, when I saw the Mega Man 11, the trailer for that, I really liked how they implemented the enemy boss weapons, so it changes your armor now. Like, your whole character look changes with this, and that's really exciting to me because it's something that they've never actually done in any of the Mega Mans before. You had your upgraded suit in the Mega Man X series, but that was about the extent of any kind of costume changes that really changed that look.
So aesthetically, the way it's looking, they are changing it up. They're also going with some new gameplay styles. They're introducing some different combos. They're making it easy to filter through weapons. They're really keeping a lot of the classic and going some innovative stuff, which I'm really excited for. Which does bring me to a question, Josh. If you have to choose Mega Man or Mega Man X,
That's a really, really hard one. My heart is tied to Mega Man 2. Just my personal history with it. I spent so much time with that game specifically that I would say that a piece of my heart tied to it. But when Mega Man X came out, that gave me a newfound love for Mega Man in general. When they started introducing like the super moves for like Ryu's Fireball and Ken's Uppercut and all those things, it was amazing. Like being able to find those hidden secrets in that game. That wasn't just one of those like you could easily get that weapon or that armor in that particular case. You had to work your tail off.
They made sure to punish you if you wanted to do anything that you actually really wanted.
When it comes to that, I think that was a huge achievement for me with the Mega Man X, is being able to go in and get those specials. You know, it was huge.
And the one thing with the Mega Man collection that's actually been interesting is it's just gotten progressively harder. So when you get into Mega Man 9, 10, very difficult. When you get into these Mega Man X games, the first one you can get through pretty easy, but then they really up it. They make you work for it, which is something if you're up to the challenge. Very fun, highly recommended, very excited. When's Mega Man 11 coming out, Josh?
Mega Man 11 is actually coming out on October 2nd is what we're looking at.
That's going to be a definite pre-order.
Oh, yeah.
You had a lot of E3 coverage, Josh. I did as well. What was a game that you thought people were really excited for? I'm just curious. I have a game to talk about. I'm wondering if you know if it's the same one. I think the game that seemed like it was the game of E3. Everyone was talking about quite a bit.
I think that's without question the Resident Evil 2 remake. Everyone was just glowing off of that. In that trailer, if you guys didn't get a chance to see that trailer, I saw it. I was watching it live. And it was a little mouse that was kind of running through, or a rat, whatever you want to call it. But it was just kind of running through the game a little bit, and you're seeing life through its eyes or whatever, and then all of a sudden it gets crushed by a shelf and then goes into this full-on zombie mode and turns into Resident Evil 2. And I was just like, just blew everyone's minds. Like the crowd erupted, I erupted. You know, seeing that, I was just like so taken back, because I had heard whispers about it. People had said that they were going to do a Resident Evil 2 remake, but nothing. I mean, it was just all rumors at that point. You know, nothing had really come out. That was just kind of out of nowhere. They hit us with that, and that was beautiful in the sense of like how heavy that hit was. I loved that. That was a great surprise.
It looks great. Just that game is just a classic. To see the upgrades and what they're going to do with it, it's one of those things. Now, this is one of your favorite Resident Evil games, Josh. Are you worried that they're going to mess with a good thing, or are you more excited?
I would have been worried if they would have went into it from Resident Evil 6 or from Resident Evil Outbreak or Resident Evil Raccoon City. Those games, I think, were really subpar in my opinion, okay? I am a true fan of the series, but those games I didn't love. And so if they would have came from that, I would have been really, really worried. But then when they had done Resident Evil 7, that game took me back to my roots of playing Resident Evil in my basement for the very first time and wanting to just cry myself to sleep because of how terrifying that game was. And Resident Evil 7 took it right back there. I mean, there was points where I was playing it at night and I had to shut the game off actually a couple different times. I hate to admit it, but it's true. I was just like, I was mentally wasn't ready for the intensity that it brought.
Was recently playing with my young cousins, and it was like watching a horror film. Everyone was just terrified the entire time. They did a great job, so I'm hoping they're going that direction with it as well.
That's kind of what I've heard, is that they're going to be bringing the graphics style of what Resident Evil 7 is and implementing that into 2. Now, I've also heard that they are going to be doing a third person as well as like a first person like they did with Resident Evil 7. It will be very interesting if you can change those perspectives, or if it's going to be kind of over-the-shoulder, third-person, like Resident Evil 4.
Sure. So. Now, are we jumping the gun on this one? Is this one going to make it for 2018?
No, this one doesn't have the release date for this year yet. So we are jumping the gun a little bit. I think it's definitely worth talking about. It's exciting.
Something to get pumped for sure.
Exactly.
One of the games that I found that when I was looking at E3, one that people were really excited about, myself included, was Spider-Man on PlayStation 4.
Absolutely.
The only thing that I'm not super excited about is it seems like it's going to be an exclusive. Is that correct?
That is correct.
We're only going on one platform. We're going to have to play it on PS4, which can be a great thing because they have a great engine. They can run very good graphics. Now, the trailer for this and the gameplay they showed, you look like Spider-Man. And so you are fighting like Spider-Man. You are doing what Spider-Man does. You're throwing webs. You're hopping around. Everything from the old one, Spider-Man 2, that they did on the Xbox, where you could explore the city and that innovative gameplay, they're just taking it up a notch, and it looks just absolutely fantastic.
It does, and a lot of people are making the comparison: is this Spider-Man going to do what Rocksteady did with Batman? I mean, I think everybody will be 100% on that same page that the Rocksteady games, the Arkham City, Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum, all those games were phenomenal.
And you always know when a system's going all out because they got special editions, they got PlayStation 4 Spider-Man editions going out, so they're taking it very seriously. We're getting a lot of villains. We're looking at a Sinister Six.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
looks like. So we're looking at Electro, Scorpion, Vulture, Rhino, Mister Negative, and a mystery number 6. Who my money's on Doctor Octopus. Who do you got? Do you have any other thoughts? To me, that's the obvious choice.
Doc Ock would be pretty awesome. I don't have any guesses towards that one. I'm really excited to see what they actually do, and will they bring in more villains with DLC from later in that? I mean, I'm assuming just about every single game nowadays has DLC. I would be willing to bet that there is going to be some extra missions or something like that with the other villains.
Now, this should be able to roam New York City, and in the Spider-Man 2 that I mentioned earlier, it's great. You could climb the Empire State Building. You could do a lot of things. I imagine a more extensive map. I imagine lots more detail. I imagine a lot more of an interactive city, and I'm just really excited for this.
Yeah, did you actually see the coverage from E3?
I
did. The trailer? So yeah, that trailer was really really long. One of the things I would actually say that I'm a little bit concerned about with the Spider-Man is just how much is going on there. The graphics look absolutely beautiful, but it almost seems, I hate to say it, but I do feel like it is a little bit overwhelming with how many things were going on the screen at the same time. Now, will it be easy to navigate and use? Playability, I hope it's great, but I am a little hesitant on it. Probably the only person that I've said anything like that of a concern about the new Spider-Man game. Everybody else seems to be head over heels in love with it already.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you heard it here first. Josh hates Spider-Man. So, hopefully they do get it worked out, but it looks like it should be a pretty fun experience. Yeah. Moving on to our next game, we're going to switch over to a couple Nintendo titles. A lighter title, one that's not necessarily a one-player playthrough or an open adventure, but if we're talking about Mario Party being back, Mario Party coming to the Switch. Right out the gate, they're already doing a few things and addressing a few things that I really like. Later Mario Party games, we went to a group format where you had to travel as a group. We're going back to individual boards. The other thing that is going to be great for me is when you had Mario Party before, you had to have a group of friends. Now you can play online. You don't even need to have friends anymore. Those days where you can't get anyone to commit to a game, you're going to be able to go online and play. We're looking at a bunch of fun mini games. All that's coming back, and this is just a great, fun-loving thing. It's a great in-person experience if you can get a group of people together.
The Switch, the only time it was like that before was with the Wii, and so when the Wii U came out, I only knew a handful of people.
And we were two of them.
Yes, exactly. I think you were probably the only other one. I had another friend, and that was about it for the Wii U. Seeing how many people are actually picking up the Switch, and then I kind of sell games on the side as well. And so I see a lot of people actually picking that up, and that is one system I cannot keep in my store to this day. It just constantly goes out.
So some of the room going online, it's going to be big, potentially a ranking system. We're looking at team play, where instead of being out for yourself, where you can be looking at different teams, we got a lot of classic mini games. You know, we're talking tanks, baseball, fishing, even a steak cook-off. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. Another innovation that has been talked about is character-specific dice, where each character is gonna have unique abilities on the dice, which I think that'll be a lot of fun too.
That'll be interesting. The one thing I don't know about any of the Mario parties in the past, and was there one on the Wii U? Wasn't 9 or 10 on the Wii U?
There was one on the Wii, and I can't recall if there was one on the Wii U. If there was, I did not play much of it because not much was worth playing on the Wii U.
I guess the reason I ask is, again, kind of taking it back to the beginning of this conversation, is amiibos. Is there going to be any amiibo support? And I think that most likely every Nintendo title has got some sort of amiibo support, as it seems, unless it's a Nindy.
Nintendo's really doubling down on the amiibos. They're making it interactive and bringing them into all the games, which is fun. Which is really incentivizing getting them, because it gives you a lot of great advantages to have them. I'd have to guess they're going to have that as part of it.
Yeah, I would guess as well. And it's one of those things. The Toys to Life thing. I know a lot of people look at me like I collect toys, but this is actually something like those amiibos are really, really cool. The statues are amazing. The detail on them is amazing. And the fact that you can put them onto a game and then all of a sudden kind of play with that character, it makes it so personalized. It takes me back to my childhood and combines toys with video games, which was my favorite things, man.
Yeah, getting you on all fronts.
Yeah.
If we're talking about where we're going to see a lot of these amiibos, we better get into our next game, which Smash Bros. Ultimate, which they went for broke here.
That is without question. Continuing on the amiibo support, rumor has it that they are going to be relaunching all of the characters, and any of the characters that do not have an amiibo will now get them with this. They will be releasing a whole new line. They're going to be bringing back the first series, as well as some of the new characters, like we kind of talked about the three from earlier today. Ridley, the Inkling, and Wolf are the ones that they have announced so far, and they also announced a Daisy specific one for Smash Bros. Ultimate as well. But
there are a lot of rumors, which I can't tell what's real and not, because I've heard of a Belmont being part of the game. We've heard of a Chain Chomp potentially being part of the game. We've heard of K. Rool from Donkey Kong, and a lot of these are very plausible. But we'll know more as time goes on, as these things leak out a little bit more. One of my favorite things from this, and for everyone, forgive me when I butcher this name, was the Masahiro Sakurai, the creator's meme of "Never ask me for anything again," because he brought them all back. Because every Smash, you lose a couple people are upset. Not this time. We're going to get everybody and more.
Yeah, and that was kind of one of those things too, right? Is that everyone's excited about getting all the Smash Bros. Characters back, all of them. And then on top of that, you're sprinkling that with extra characters as well. I think that was another point when watching E3, everyone erupted the fact that, hey, we got all the characters back. And then they announced Ridley, and again, the crowd was just nuts. Absolutely exciting. These are things that when you start playing video games, when you start adding in extra things or bonuses or things that you can work towards in games, it just brings it that special memory,
it's a great
fandom, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things Nintendo's done really well with Smash Bros. Is I don't think they've missed yet. Everyone has games they prefer in the Smash Bros. Universe, but all of them have been good, even the one released on the Wii U. And so they've really just done a great job putting in little innovations, keeping it interesting and really fun. Keeping the classic stuff and innovating, that's about the most you can ask for. One of the things I did want to ask Josh is, if you could fantasy book this and you could bring in a character or two, who would you want to see in the Smash Brothers Ultimate?
That's without question, and you already brought it up, is the Belmonts. You know, anyone, whether it be Simon or Trevor or Richter, any one of the Belmonts would be amazing in that game. I would absolutely love to see that. And quite frankly, I don't know that my mind can go past that. Like, that's the one. I know that there's been a bunch of different polls online, and everyone keeps talking about that one. And I think Nintendo owns Castlevania. Like, why is that title being missed out on? Like, why have we not had a new Castlevania title? That's what I want to know. Why? Not an E3 coverage. This is the Wizard Gamers coverage. Right? I want to know, why is there not a new Castlevania?
Tough to say. Maybe it's because you can only jump in one direction, and then you can't adjust your jump after you've jumped, which causes instant death. If I were to pick one of the things that I loved is when they would go cross-platform a couple times. They brought Cloud into the game from Final Fantasy VII. They brought in Snake from Metal Gear Solid. I think a video game staple who deserves a spot is the Master Chief from Halo, simply because of what he did for the Xbox. He put Xbox on the map. He deserves to be in the game, I would say.
And I think you bring up a really good point there, especially for the thing that I've been so excited about, and I've been posting on the Twitter page, and I've been posting on our Facebook page. Nintendo and Microsoft working together, doing the cross-platform. I don't think that's too far away for an idea to bring in Master Chief into Smash Bros. I really feel like that could be right around the corner. I think Microsoft and Nintendo combining are doing great things, and I've mentioned it multiple different times. I could watch that Microsoft and Nintendo add over and over and over. You know, play together, survive together. I'm so ecstatic about that, and I love seeing that, because as gamers, we win with that. You know, there doesn't need to be an exclusive fanboy for whether it's Nintendo or Microsoft or Sony. If we're all gamers, we win together when we start playing together.
Unless you are a Sony advocate, and then you are left out in the cold. you are winning on your own with no help from anyone else. Another game, but if we go into more of a one-player game, another serious game coming out, We got Red Dead Redemption number 2 coming out. The last title, I thought they really nailed it. Rockstar always does a good job when they have an open world to work with. You're essentially playing Grand Theft Auto in the Old West. A lot of fun, lots of side missions, really fantastic gameplay, and it seems like they're just going to be continuing this with the next edition.
Now, from what I've been hearing is that this is actually a prequel. This is not a sequel, it is a prequel.
And I do know that we're going with different characters. I understand that we have an Arthur Morgan is going to be our main character here. But one of the things that I'm really excited about here is this open world concept, which is said it's going to be very large. They're going to go really all out with this. And so really excited to see what it is they're going to be doing. Additionally, they're introducing an online mode. I don't know if you've heard about this at all.
I haven't.
Battle Royale mode, which Battle Royale, everyone's going Battle Royale now. Everyone needs it. Fortnite, PUBG, they've really started a trend here.
Call of Duty is doing it,
yep.
And then
everyone's every shooter that's coming out. My understanding is they are going with this. They got some new mechanics that are coming out. Some of the other things they're doing that are going to be a little more innovative. You have to buy during the daytime. You cannot buy your pistol at midnight. You have to buy it during regular hours. And the choices you make are going to be affecting what your storyline looks like. So the choices you're making throughout the game will have a profound effect on how the game develops for you, which I think is going to be really cool.
Did you finish that one?
I did not finish it. Everything I played, I sound like I'm faking it. It was a fantastic game. But when you're in the gamer world and you got games coming in, sometimes things get on the back burner and you never get back to it.
Yeah, the big open world ones. That was one that I actually never finished either. I actually played very, very little of that game. I was definitely more into Skyrim doing that style versus going into the Red Dead Redemption. I know a lot of people love it. I think it looks great. Graphics are awesome. I know the gameplay was fluid on that. I'll definitely be giving this one a try as well.
Which brings it, you brought up Skyrim coming out here from the same creators of Skyrim. We got Fallout 76 coming out.
Yes, we do. And that one is right around the corner there. Fallout 76 is coming out November 14th.
Big shoes to fill with this game because Fallout 4 was an incredible experience.
Yeah, and it's really interesting how they actually went with that one. A lot of people were really shocked at E3. That was the title. And that they're going really, really heavy into the multiplayer aspect of this one. But now what I've read is that there will definitely be enough for you to go through and play this solo. But if you choose to play with other people, pretty fun.
Game takes place in West Virginia, so there should be a lot of John Denver tracks, I'm guessing. And just a shout out to Fallout for providing fantastic soundtracks. They always do a great job there.
Their soundtracks are amazing.
Now, this multiplayer, it's one of those things where we have such good single-player mode. I'm hoping they're able to recreate this in a multiplayer way because you once again, you want to be able to innovate, and it's always been a good experience of, hey, how would your character fare in my Fallout world or going up against my guy? We're going to have the options to see some of those things. My understanding is the feature is if you don't want to go to battle with everyone in the world, you don't have to. Right. And so you can make it more of that one-player experience, but they do say that having a team is going to be the best way to succeed in this game.
Yeah, it'll definitely be really, really interesting to see how that's done. Since that has been such a heavy single-player game, how is that jump going to go? I think if we look at Bethesda's track record as far as multiplayer goes, just taking one step back to their multiplayer and going with the Elder Scrolls Online, I personally did not care for. I loved Skyrim. I dumped days and days and days into that game. I did play quite a lot, actually, with the ESO as well. However, when you got into the community on that, it was really, really overwhelming because everyone that was talking, you hear everybody in the background. And so I'm really hoping that the communication with Fallout 76 is something that will be looked at on how Elder Scrolls was.
Some of the concerns are making very clear. This is not an MMO. It's not a battle royale game or anything like that. You're just going to have the opportunity to be playing with other people. 4 times the map size of Fallout 4 is the rumor, and that was a big map as it was. So we're really going to have quite a world there. One of the features that I'm very excited for, have you heard about these launch codes?
Once you get them, then you can drop a nuke, right?
Yeah, you can drop a nuke and do your scavenging, so that'll be really fun to see how big of a sociopath we all are and how many people's lives we want to destroy.
The way that I've been told or heard about this is that to go in groups of teams and you'll get pieces of the code. So you have to go to certain areas of the map to get certain codes. In order to be successful, you will have to have it as a team. If you're going to be one person playing alone trying to do that, chances are it's going to be very difficult. With gamers, they love a challenge. I'm sure we will see somebody that will succeed in that, and that will be a YouTube video that'll have over 1 million views. I'm excited to see somebody be a boss there.
Shout out to Xbox and Fallout 76. DLCs are going to be for free, is my understanding. Now, keep in mind a lot of this is speculation, so when you guys pick up the game and none of this stuff is true, blame the internet and E3. Josh, what are some other games that you think that are coming up down the pike that you're really looking forward to?
Walking Dead, the Telltale games. We kind of briefly touched on that. I don't have a whole lot to bring into that other than it is coming out in August 14th, and this is going to be the last story of that. Did you yourself play any of the Walking Dead Telltale games?
So my understanding, I started Back to the Future, and everyone says that's the worst one. It's the one I shouldn't be basing my opinion on. So I'll be excited to give this a shot and see what it looks like.
So without question, you definitely have to go back to season 1. There is a huge story building that comes with this. I would really go out on a limb here and say that some of the best storytelling that you'll see. It really is. And with the Choose Your Own Adventure, Clementine, who ends up being kind of the main character throughout the whole series, the voice actor is phenomenal. You really get attached to the character. The choices that you make, some of them are really, really difficult choices. Like really, really difficult. That is one thing. The Telltale games, I am absolutely in love with just about everything that they have done. There's only 2 or 3 of them that I have not played. Borderlands and the Game of Thrones and Back to the Future are the only 3 that I have not played. I've played all the rest.
What are your thoughts on, I know you're a big Assassin's Creed guy. What are your thoughts on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, ripping off the Mario title? Obviously, right. Different game. What are your thoughts on your first looks at that?
Very, very excited for that one. And the reason for me being so excited is that this time it is kind of a little bit of a choose your own adventure, because you'll actually be able to interact with the characters that you're talking about, your NPCs, and you get to choose how you want to talk to them, how you exchange your words, and that can change the ultimate story on this one. So for me, I've been a completionist with all of the Assassin's Creed games. This one is going to force me to go through and play through it multiple times. That is very, very exciting for me, because I do truly love these games. I love going through them again. I can't get enough of these games. I love the way that they've done all the city building in there. I love the character developments. I love the gameplay. I'm an Assassin's Creed fan.
All right, and I just, from what I've looked like, looks like we got a little bit of 300 in there. We got a pretty fun fighting style, and we got just fantastic, breathtaking scenery that graphically you're really seeing what they're able to do with their current engines right now. It just looks aesthetically just beautiful.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, I had a few different people holler at me and say, hey, did you see that you get the Sword of Leonidas in there? And that just kind of blew a few different people's minds. And I think that is pretty awesome. So yeah, a throwback to 300 on there in that.
Well, we are running out of time. We could sit here and talk for probably another 2 hours on different games that are coming out. Josh, do you just want to mention a few of the other new releases that we did not get a chance to talk about that we are excited to be seeing coming down the pike?
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll just give you guys a rundown on the date again here, just so you guys kind of have the title, and we'll talk briefly here. So Mega Man X Collection comes out July 24th. We got the Walking Dead Telltale games. The first episode is going to be launched on August 14th. You've got Spider-Man for the PS4 coming out on September 7th. Shadow of the Tomb Raider we didn't touch on, but that is also a game I'm very, very excited for. The end of the trilogy for this part. Pretty exciting to see that one coming through. That is going to be on September 14th. The Spyro trilogy, that one is going to be coming out on September 21st. Definitely really, really excited for that one as well. How they beefed up those graphics, I think it's a lot like Crash Bandicoot. It looks phenomenal. Then we've got Mega Man 11, that's going to be coming out on October 2nd. We've got Assassin's Creed Odyssey coming out on October 5th. We've got Mario Party coming out on October 5th as well. So the first week in October is going to be painful for some of our pocketbooks. One that we didn't talk about also here was Soul Calibur 6. This is definitely a great fighting game due to the fact that Ed Boon isn't saying anything about a new Mortal Kombat. I guess we're going to have to settle for Soul Calibur 6, which does look great as well. Bringing Maxie back and putting his story in there looks pretty great. Charles, you mentioned Red Dead Redemption 2. That one's coming out on October 26th. Another one that we didn't mention was Hitman 2, and that one's coming out on November 13th. This one, I'm not sure if they're going to go with the episode style like they did with this last one that they did, I personally am going to say I hope that they don't. I really did not care for that at all. I am a huge Hitman fan, almost as big of a Hitman fan as I am Assassin's Creed. So it gives you a little bit of an idea. And I feel like they dropped the ball on this last Hitman game, so I really hope that they pick it up and fix it on this one. Charles also mentioned Fallout 76, also coming out November 14th, so that'll be a heavy pocketbook week as well. Another one we didn't talk about, but I'm really excited for this one, is the Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. The fact that the Pokemon Go is going to be combined with these games, I'm very excited. I'm excited that they made a new controller for it. I'm not a huge Pokemon fan, but I did fall madly in love with Pokemon Go when I was in Austin, Texas. We got to go out into the community. Seeing when that game came out, how many hundreds of people were out walking around in parks looking for Pokestops. I can't even tell you guys how crazy that was, how many people I met through that game.
It crashed the servers. You couldn't even download it for a while. So
yeah,
hopefully they have a smoother launch. I would hope.
Yeah, no, and I'm so very excited to see that one. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. My daughter plays it, my wife plays it, I play it, so it'll be a lot of fun to be able to catch your Pokemon on your phone, be able to bring them back to your Switch and load them on there. That's really exciting. That's some new technology as well. Something that's not been done before is being able to communicate your cell phone with a home game system. The Nintendo Switch being able to take that anywhere, and then you combine it with your cell phone. Nintendo is just, they're always setting new standards.
Innovation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're just going above and beyond on everything, and if you can think about it, Nintendo's already probably done it in some aspect or tried it. One of the final ones here for this year, for the final one for this year on our list, is Smash Bros. Ultimate, coming out on December 7th. I think we both had a couple of honorable mentions that we're really excited for that are going to be coming out next year, not this year. We're looking at 2019 release. Go ahead. What one was it?
Cuphead, the new Cuphead DLC. I can't wait. I could not get enough of Cuphead. If you saw me playing Cuphead, you would say you've had way too much of Cuphead. As I was losing my mind with the difficulty of the game, but it's so fun, and I'm very much looking forward to some more DLC.
You know, and this is one of those things, guys, that I wouldn't typically go around and pat somebody on the back on this one, or try and blow somebody's head up. But if you ever saw Charles play Cuphead, he had done some amazing things that just were unbelievable. I got to go through and I got to complete the game with you. Thank God I had you, because I don't know that I would have actually been able to finish it on my own.
It changed my life too. I haven't smiled since 2018.
No, definitely, guys, if you can get on Xbox Live there and watch any of your videos, I think we'll try and probably capture some of those and upload them on Twitter so you guys can take a look there. He definitely did some great things. You got every achievement in that game, right?
Everything you could get.
Yeah,
I S'd it all, and it was soul-sucking, but it was I'd do it again.
Yeah, but
and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
One of those things. What would you say your greatest achievements have been in video games? Just kind of closing her down here.
That's almost another topic, but that's definitely up there. That's one of them. Some of those painstaking indie games, Super Meat Boy, finishing all the achievements on that.
Is there one in particular where you feel like, you know what, this was worth every second I put into it?
Cuphead, when you S everything, and it's 1% of people play the game are able to do that. I'd say that's definitely a top tier. So Josh, going forward, what are you most excited for and crowning video game achievement?
Oh, crowning video game achievement and what I'm excited for. Battletoads. I just about lost my mind when that came on at E3. I wanted to scream like a little girl. Like I am so excited for that. I'm out of my mind excited and just hoping for a beautiful remake, remaster, new story, whatever it is. I don't care what they do. I'm just excited to get my hands on it. And I can only hope, maybe somehow, Double Dragon will be in there with them. Battletoads and Double Dragon, those games were out of this world. And if we could ever see that come out in a new system, new game...
Bring it back.
Please tell me. I mean, would you not want to play one of those beat-em-ups?
Run it back. Run it back.
I would absolutely love to see that happen. Double Dragon is a game that not many people talk about. You hear a lot about Castlevania, you hear a lot about Ghosts and Goblins and anything like that. Double Dragon, you don't hear anything about. But I think Final Fight, you've seen some of those remakes coming back on the Vita and whatnot. Double Dragon would be one of those ones that would be great for me. You had asked me about achievements here, and I would say one of the biggest achievements for me just recently would be the completion of Dark Souls. That was definitely something very, very difficult for me to finish that game. Those games, there's all the rumors and the jokes of, Cup Souls. You see all of those where the combination of Dark Souls and Cuphead are like, the reward when you finish it is so great that you forget how painful it was to get to that point. And so for me, I just finished Dark Souls here last week, actually. That was one of my biggest achievements here, is actually finishing one of those games. Now I plan on moving into Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, and then I'm intending on going into Bloodborne. That one is one that I haven't touched. I've seen my wife finish that, and the game is absolutely beautiful. I don't know why I haven't gone through and picked that one up yet. So that one's on my backlog.
That'll be next. Fantastic episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please follow us on Twitter. You can check us out on Facebook. And if you guys have any games you're most excited for, that you're looking forward to the most, go ahead and post it on our Twitter. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say.
Thank you, everyone, for checking us out today. If you liked our content, please remember to click on that subscribe button. New episodes come out every Monday, so be sure to hit that bell and get those notifications. Thanks for following the Wizard Gamers, and we'll see you next week. Remember, keep the magic in those thumbs.